And a good Wednesday morning, Quad Cities. It, of course, is Wednesday, as I just said, at 9 o'clock on the dot. It is also March 26th as well. I'm meteorologist Andrew Stutzke.
And I'm weather anchor Peter Warner. Happy hump day.
Yeah, we've made it halfway through the week already. I will say that this week, even though it hasn't been as busy as what last week was, is moving right along.
It's moving nice and quick this week.
My
we were talking about
goodness.
this earlier, right? It's been kind of a quick week so far.
Yeah.
I'm not mad about it.
Quick and snappy.
Oh, yeah.
Getting close to that weekend already.
Yeah.
And speaking of the weekend, we're still watching that storm system.
Watching that, yes.
And there's a lot of uncertainty with that storm system, too. I'm going to show you why. Coming up, we'll do a little bit of a deeper dive into that, because we may have some good news about that weekend forecast coming up as early as tomorrow morning, perhaps.
Tomorrow morning. Good
Yeah.
news, hopefully.
That's what
We'll
I'm hoping,
see what
too.
the Storm Prediction Center has to say.
Yes. Yeah, it's been a wild one to track. It's been all over the place. The energy levels also all over the place. And I'll show you what I mean about that coming up. But I want to welcome you into this new episode of Ask Andrew Live. If you haven't been here before, welcome. You're part of an exclusive little elite club, if you would be here on the 8 Plus app. If you don't have the app, if you're watching us maybe on Facebook and you have a smart TV, if it's an Amazon Fire, Apple TV,
or
Roku. Yes, those three. Those are the three platforms we have right now, with more coming soon, by the way. It's going to be in testing with some other platforms, including, I think, some Android platforms. So stay tuned. It is coming. We just got to test things out and get those bugs worked out. But if you haven't gotten the app for your smart TV, go ahead and grab it. It's free. And not only do you get to see this, but you also get to see extended severe weather coverage. For example, last week, when those storms rolled through, we were on the 8 Plus app a couple of hours before the first warnings were even issued for the Quad Cities region. And again, I want to reiterate, that doesn't mean that our on-air coverage is going to change. It's just that with the 8 Plus app, we can actually start doing storm coverage before the storms even get here close to the region.
Yeah, we can help you prepare and give you that exact timing. So obviously when we see these systems coming in, we have a good idea of timing, but obviously dynamics change, and that way you can be up to date right to the moment when your hometown could be potentially seeing those storms.
Exactly, because we don't want to cut in on the on-air signal until the storms are actually getting ready to arrive here and we have warnings issued, because there's consequences to that. But there's no consequences to streaming on the 8 Plus app. We can go as long as we want and all that good stuff. So I encourage you to check that out. Also, if you're new here and you want to submit a question, 2 ways to do that. The preferred method is at the bottom of your screen. And actually, I'll put it on the screen full. Thank you, Brandy. 309-304-0888. 309-304-0888.
309-304-0. Guess what? 888.
I wonder why we picked that number.
Who could have guessed 3 8s?
I bet if we could have done 888, 888, 8888, we probably would have. But that's probably not possible right now.
We got to get that area code in there. Not zip code, area
code. The area code. Yeah, the area code is still important.
It is.
Even in 2025.
Yes.
So you can text your question there. Or if you're on our Facebook stream, you can put it in the comments section as well, and we'll get to it. Before we get to the questions, which we'll leave plenty of time for, we want to kind of do a deep dive into what we've been talking about for most of this week, which has been that threat of severe weather returning for the weekend.
Yes.
Potentially, yes.
And we'll show you why.
So we put this weather impact alert out very, very early this week. It was on Monday, I believe, is when we put it out.
Storm Protection Center.
Yeah.
That 15%.
We had a really big risk area already put out from the Storm Prediction Center, but that has since changed, and there's a couple of reasons why. So I'm going to pull up my regional future track, and I'll kind of take you through this. So what we're going to be tracking here leading up to this system on Saturday is, first of all, we have a little bit of a storm threat coming up tomorrow night. Now, this is not going to be a widespread severe weather outbreak, none of that. This is going to be the potential to see some hail as we get into tomorrow evening and also into tomorrow night. So we're going to have some showers tomorrow morning. It's very similar to what we had the other day. And then you get to the afternoon and the evening and you see storms start firing well south of us. You got to go into northern Missouri, downstate Illinois. Now there's a couple of storms that are going to fire up here. And you're seeing those there at about 1 o'clock Friday morning. Could be some small hail with those, pea size perhaps, maybe a little bit bigger, maybe nickel size. Quarter size is what you need for severe. But the main action is expected to stay south of us for the most part right now.
Yeah, we're not really expecting too much of this. The dynamics are remaining way further south too.
Exactly. Better moisture, that's where the front is. A lot better placement down there.
Yes.
You get to Friday, there's no storm zones here. That is a warm and windy day. But you get to this weekend, And as I put this into motion, you're going to see this for Saturday. There's the area of low pressure spinning just southwest of Omaha, but there's not really a whole lot going on here. Yeah, we're in the what we would call the warm sector, where you've got all this warm air rushing up from the south. But the problem is the timing of this front that's attached to this area of low pressure, it keeps getting delayed. And it's coming in later and later, so late that here's the front working into central Iowa. And, you know, the radar doesn't look that impressive because we're in the long range. We're in this low resolution data.
Into account.
Yeah, so you're not going to see yellow and oranges until we get a little bit closer to this event, maybe as early as tomorrow. We'll see. But this would be the line of thunderstorms that this is the European model we're referencing. And if you look at the timestamp, this is midnight Sunday. And not the ideal time to have strong storms, especially because you've lost the daytime heating, you've lost a whole bunch of ingredients. And, you know, that comes through the Quad Cities between midnight and looks like 6 a.m., somewhere in there, and then it's out of here for Sunday. So that's one of the couple of reasons why we think the severe threat for Saturday is decreasing as you look at the timing of this.
Yeah, and also, I don't know if you can scroll down here. Go through this time frame. So if we go back a little bit here, look at that system impacting your Indiana, your Ohio. If you go back on the future track here, one of the key ingredients for severe storms is we need a lot of moisture.
We do, yes.
And if we have that system to our south, taking away some of that moisture potential, typically we get our moisture coming up from the Gulf. When you see that moisture taken away by, say, another storm, that's going to limit another phase, I guess, or impact potential with this storm moving through late Saturday as well. Not only the storm energy, but moisture is also getting taken away there as well.
Exactly, and if you follow the winds, so these lines that you always see moving on your TV screen, these are indicating the direction and speed of the wind, and you see how that comes up from the southwest, and it goes right into this complex of thunderstorms as you go into Saturday afternoon and evening. Well, that could potentially, like you said, Peter, rob all of the moisture and even some of the energy needed to get some storms forming along the cold front, which here on Saturday is still to our southwest. So what we think is going to happen, at least based on the data that we've seen this morning and in the day before yesterday, is you're probably going to get a line of weaker storms that comes through, kind of like what Future Track is indicating here, after midnight as we get into the early morning hours of Sunday. And again, that's not ideal timing to get severe weather, at least organized widespread. Could we see an isolated severe wind gust? Perhaps with that. But again, the timing is just not that great to get a widespread severe weather threat in here. I can tell you, we looked at the Storm Prediction Center. There is nothing outlooked for us on Saturday as of right now that has been taken away. Why have we not taken away the weather impact alert? Well, we're kind of curious to see what the Storm Prediction Center is going to say tomorrow morning, because that becomes in that 1 to 3 day range where we'll see if there's a marginal, is there going to be a slight risk of severe storms. In our neck of the, in our, you know, naming our nomenclature here, that's level 1, level 2, but that's what we're waiting to see. We'd hate to pull the weather impact alert for Saturday and then have to put it back on again if things ramp up, because we want our messaging to remain consistent.
Yes, and another thing with this system is not only goes for the Storm Prediction Center where they can fine-tune things and you get better data once you get kind of within that day 3 to 1 range, that's where you get better data, but that's also when we will be gaining better data here as well. And we can also decide not only on our end, not only on the SPC end, but what we're seeing as well, if we want to keep it or not.
Yeah, and in fact, tomorrow evening, our in-house run of Future Track should actually take us through the majority of Saturday, and we'll have access to that high-resolution data that we can see exactly what the storms are going to do. So I guess what are we trying to say right now? Well, we're trying to say remain on guard. I wouldn't, you know, take that away completely right now. It's just something we're going to have to fine-tune here. But I can tell you it appears that as of today, that severe threat is trending down. It's not as serious as what it looked like earlier in the week. Our director, Brandy's excited about that.
She's excited about that.
We are too, because
which is a good thing.
You know, that means a 6-day work week if we got to come in for storm coverage on Saturday, which is the plan if need be. So we don't mind that decreasing in intensity at all. And, you know, people have weekend plans, they don't mind it either.
As I say, you don't want your golf canceled.
Exactly.
I know I was looking at golf on Saturday. I'll put that up front. So. This is better if we don't have the
Yeah.
storms for everyone.
Exactly. Everybody wins. So remain on guard with that. We're going to continue to track it the next 24 hours. Tomorrow we'll likely make the call whether we need to have that weather impact alert still in place for Saturday, or maybe we can pull that down and kind of fine tune that somewhere else. So stick with us. Again, more data coming in. We always like to give that early heads up though, because we'd rather have everyone be prepared ahead of time than to try and do it all at the last minute.
Exactly. Well, you're saying be prepared, not scared.
Exactly, yeah. Again,
That's what we're looking for here.
the more knowledge they have, the better.
Yes.
So this is where things stand right now. We still have it in the afternoon and evening. It's still a big time frame, I know. That's a big chunk of your Saturday. But if we need to keep the impact alert, for example, if we see some ingredients maybe coming together for Saturday tomorrow morning, I think by tomorrow we can shrink this down and we can maybe get this into a 4 or 5 hour window instead of a giant 9 hour window that we have right now. We're also going to be able to kind of fine tune which one of these impacts we're going to be more concerned about versus one another. So you're doing what you're doing right now. This is the need. And here you are. You're tuning in and we're doing that deeper dive into that threat coming in for Saturday. So you guys are acing your homework assignment by tuning in this morning.
Double thumbs up.
Yes, you guys are amazing. Absolutely amazing. What's going to happen, speaking of amazing, is the day before.
Whew.
Oh, my word.
Ooh.
Who's ready for some swimming on Friday?
Oh my goodness.
Anybody
Are the
got a
pools
pool?
open yet?
That's what I was wondering.
Are the pools open?
Has anybody pulled the tarp off yet? Have you started the filter? No, they probably haven't. Yeah, it's still a little too early. If you have a heater, maybe. There's folks that have heaters around here.
That's true. Some heated pools. I missed that.
Maybe they're going to be tempted to do that. But yeah, Friday is going to be very warm. Record high here is 81 degrees. 1910, by the way, is the record there. We're going to come close.
115 years.
Ooh, it's a long time.
It's a long time.
I remember it like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
Don't I look good? No, I'm kidding. I am not that old. Some kids may think that though. It'd be amazing what you hear at school visits.
Oh.
And then we'll watch that weather impact alert for Saturday. I don't see any severe weather threat really here on Sunday. No. This is more just rain and embedded thunder day. So indoor plans this weekend by the way things look right now. Maybe catch a break on Saturday. We'll fine tune it. And then next week it gets a little chilly. And you're talking about snow.
There's a potential.
For maybe northern parts of Iowa early next week.
Northern parts of Iowa. And actually model runs this morning kind of expanded it kind of statewide, even tracking towards here.
Yeah.
Again, this is one model run and it's still far away. Again, we're just fine tuning Saturday night. So take into account, add an extra day of that. We're a little bit, I guess, a day behind when it comes to fine tuning your Sunday night into Monday. But there's a little bit of a second little jolt out of the system kind of making its way. And we're like, ooh. Good news is though, if you look at these temperatures here, you're not going to be getting any major accumulation, especially on the roads, which would be the biggest impact here with this system. Warmer temperatures. I mean, we're, again, breaking a record just 2 days before. Luckily, maybe grassy surfaces could see an impact, but beyond that, if we do get snow, it's looking to be just showers, and if it's a little bit more than that, still won't have a road impact really with it. So that's the good news. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, roads become less and less of an impact. It takes a real heavy snowfall rate this time of year to get that to stick to the roads. Want to review really quickly before we take your questions what we talked about this morning for our normal Ask Andrew segment. And this was a fantastic question. I had about 6 of these piled up in my inbox because everyone was thinking the same thing. They wanted to know why in the world has it been so darn windy around here lately. I love that little sound effect, by the way. Did you catch that? Oh my goodness. So I picked one at random. You know, I didn't play favorites. I just went down the list and I'm like, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. And Julie's question is the one that we chose, but they were all the same. Everybody was wondering about all this wind. So I'm going to show you the data, and it's actually really cool to look at. So this comes from the Iowa Environmental Mesonet. It's a website that's basically a weather data clearinghouse website, and they have some really amazing pieces of data that you can access. And one of those I found was the average daily wind speed for every single day so far this year in the Quad Cities. Yeah, isn't that nuts? That's so cool. So everything in blue, those blue bars, that is the daily average wind speed for that particular day. But they also had this feature where I could go back and say, well, I want to see the 30-year average wind speed for each one of those days and see, is it windier than normal? And the answer is absolutely yes, especially when you look at how many of those blue bars not only go above the red line, but look at how far above the red line they go for the average. Ooh. I mean, we've had days where the average wind speed has been close to 20 miles an hour. That does not include gusts, by the way. That's a whole separate measurement. Yes. But this is just the average wind speed, which gives you that good indicator of just how windy it's been. And it hasn't been just March. These bars have been going up and up and up since January. It's been windy. Yeah. So what causes that? You're not going crazy. It's been windy. Yeah. What causes it? So what causes that? So
I want you to take a look at this for a second. You may have to come a little closer to your screen. I know it's got some small font. So this is the average wind speed, the one that I just showed you with that red line, but it's for the whole year, not just for the 3 months that we've been through. So you notice that on average, we're going to see the most wind next month in early April, and then that wind is going to trend down heading into June, July, August, and September. So I want you to think about what happens during those months. What happens during the summer months around here? What is usually consistent and not really changing a whole lot? This is a good question for Peter too, because you're in school after all.
I know.
So what is consistent here in that time of year?
What would be the temperatures?
Amen. Oh,
Temperatures and also pressure
he's
systems.
so good. I'll graduate you right now, here on the spot.
I wish. Oh, my goodness. That'd be fantastic.
I know, right? Oh my gosh. You're right.
Temperature and also pressure in a way, I think plays a role in that as well. Pressure gradient, temperature gradient, the two biggest drivers you find in wind.
That's exactly right. Yep. And you think, just look at this week. 80 degrees on Friday, 40s on Monday. Huge temperature difference, right? In just a matter of a couple of days. So it will not be until the summer when we consistently have days in the 80s and 90s. We don't go from like 70 to 90 in a day or two. We stay consistent with temperatures. They stick around for a lot longer. And that's why you have less wind. And we've had some crazy temperatures lately.
It's been a roller coaster.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like that graphic, those little ups and downs you constantly keep on seeing here for March. It's really felt like that.
Yep.
So far this month, I think we've seen gone from days in the 70s to the 40s. Mm-hmm. Now we're looking at 60s and then 70s near 80s.
Again.
Yeah. And so we've already had 2 waves of 40s to 50s, 60s, 70s, back down to the 40s, 50s, and then we're going back up to the 70s, 80s before we drop back down to the 40s again.
Yeah. And that's what's been inconsistent on those temperatures. And you notice these spikes in wind speeds are exactly when we have those big drives of warmth come in here. That's what hikes up the average wind speed. So very good. That's exactly why we have seen so much wind. In terms of, has this been the windiest year on record or the windiest March on record? It is not. I kind of dug into those numbers, but I didn't have enough time to make them all pretty for TV. I can tell you we're in the top 10 windiest starts to the year so far in the Quad Cities. Yes, easily top 10. Yes.
Makes sense. Mm-hmm. Complete sense.
Yeah.
Wow. Top 10 is a good number.
And those of you that live in the country, you know it. You've been feeling this nonstop. It's been a barrage of strong winds all over the place. So there's the reason why you're not going crazy. We have seen more wind than normal.
We have.
Yeah. Now you know why.
Now you know why.
Yeah.
So just prepare for it. Whenever you see those big ups and downs and all those pressure changes, not good for those winds.
That's when you know what's going on.
Yes.
Now we can get to some of your questions and see what folks have for me this morning. We'll welcome aboard and we'll go ahead and we'll get started. See what you got.
Let's start here with Melanie. She was wondering, I have questions about severe weather warnings for schools. More importantly, what position do students have to get into, and is there an updated way for students to sit?
Oh, okay. So yes, I actually got that question via email a little while ago. So I'm glad it got reposted here. So, you know, back when I was in school, we kind of did the same thing. We went into the hallway. We did the whole crouching on the ground. You take the textbook with you, and you put that textbook over your head. Okay. Because this is the most important part of your body right here.
Got to protect your noggin.
Yeah. You know what's stored up here? All the memories you have and the abilities to walk and talk and all that. This is what you got to protect. So nothing has really changed from that. We have seen a couple of bad examples, and that is last year or the year before, I saw an example on social media where the kids were brought into the gymnasium. That put up some red flags. That's not the best place to go. I really think the hallway is the better option for that. When you're talking about a gym, you've got a wide open space, and if that roof were to give or a wall collapse, that's a lot of debris that could fly your way. Yeah. You know, hallway's a little bit more enclosed, and most hallways tend to be kind of in the interior of the school.
As I said, yeah.
Not so much with an outside wall. So that hasn't changed. I think, getting into the hallway, against the lockers, against the wall, crouching down, with a hardcover textbook above your head, that's the best way to do tornado drills still in school.
Yeah. We have one of those actually come up here.
Today.
Iowa, in about 40 minutes.
It's Iowa's Severe Weather Awareness Week, so
Severe Weather Awareness Week.
We'll be hearing that at 10 o'clock.
Yeah. Bureau County resident was wondering what part of the basement is considered the interior part in severe weather. Because we always talk about go to your basement, go to the interior. What is the interior?
So the interior is the central part where you're furthest away from walls. But when you're going into a basement, this is not an old wives' tale. Most oftentimes you want to be in that southwest corner of the basement because tornadoes around here especially move from southwest to northeast. So I wish I could draw on this little magic board here. Like, because this is what I do this in the classrooms. I draw a box and I'm like, this is your basement. And this is you, my little stick figure down here in the southwest corner. What happens is if the tornado is moving from southwest to northeast, all of that debris is going to get pushed into the northeast corner of the basement. While if you're in the southwest corner, the debris goes above you and doesn't touch you for the most part.
Yeah.
And a lot of folks don't realize that. So it's not a myth that you should always go to the southwest corner of the basement. In fact, the odds are usually in your favor that the southwest corner of your basement is the safest.
Yes, typically almost always is that just the way these systems align. And almost all tornado tracks, not all, but almost all of them go from a south-southwest to a southwest-west path. And within that range, carry their way further to the north and east.
Exactly. And when you were researching your piece for the severe weather special, the tornadoes, you were looking at those tornado tracks.
And almost everyone almost directly went southwest to, I mean, obviously there's outliers. It's not impossible, but it's very, very, very rare to get anything beyond that southwest. And here in the Quad Cities, it's, I think 99.9% of them go southwest to northeast.
I was just about to say, I would put money that it's 95+% of those tracks are oriented in that direction.
Yes.
Yep.
Almost always. So that's where the systems and the winds go in the United States.
So unlike going to the casino, using that piece of advice will definitely work in your favor. The odds are more in your favor.
No, that's true. That's very true.
Not to discount the casinos, but we know.
Yes, exactly. Michelle, just thank you. That was very kind. Tim from Moline was wondering, let's see. This morning on Interstate 280 west out on Kimberly Road exit and I-80, I saw fog, especially out by the Flying J truck stop, but other areas didn't have it. What caused that to form like that just in those areas?
Great question. So right after we hopped off of GMQC at about 7 o'clock, I started seeing the visibility was dropping north of Davenport, kind of in that corridor. So what happened is, remember what happened late last evening? We had showers move through. And that corridor from Davenport to about Iowa City up through Cedar Rapids is who saw the rain. And we had high pressure getting near this morning, which means calm winds.
Calm winds.
What else did we have? We had clear skies.
Clear skies.
So the temperature got close to the dew point. There's the fog, 100% relative humidity. It may have actually been related possibly to that crash that was south of DeWitt. I can't confirm that because we don't have information yet. But it is, quite a coincidence that there was a crash there this morning, and that's where that corridor of fog was. So there was the rain and the combination of the calm winds and clear skies this morning.
Yeah, makes sense.
Hard to predict those smaller scale features. Yeah. If we had a more widespread rain, it would have been easier to say, oh, there's going to be a lot of dense fog this morning.
Yes.
But when it's just little showers that come through, and then you get the last minute clearing.
Last minute clearing, just spread out in certain areas. Even our models typically don't pick that up.
They don't, no, because it's so small scale.
So tiny.
Yeah.
I wonder if you know who this is. You know Marcus from Knoxville?
Who is Marcus?
Who's Marcus? I think I know you, Marcus. I think he does too. Marcus from Knoxville was wondering, my question is, what makes March such a volatile month in regard to weather?
It's all about this change of seasons. We still have some snowpack to the north of us. Remember, it was just about a week ago you were tracking snow.
I had a blizzard
in Iowa.
I had a blizzard in northwest Iowa just about, less than a week ago. Actually, no, it wasn't 1 week ago. It was on a Wednesday.
It was a week ago, yeah.
Wednesday.
Like it was just yesterday.
Time flies.
Yes. So you have the battle of that snowpack, which creates colder temperatures. And then you have the battle of the stronger sunshine this time of year, where there's no snow on the ground. It can warm up significantly. So you get that contrast, and that fuels these stronger winds. It fuels these stronger storm systems, these big temperature differences. Until we can get all of the snow to the north melted, and the sun can get even stronger to warm everyone up, including north of us, that's when we'll see things settle down a little bit. But until then, it's going to remain very touch and go.
Up and down.
Yeah.
And as the jet stream moves too, that always kind of impacts it, the ups and downs.
Yes.
See a lot more here.
Great question, Mark.
Yeah. Michelle was wondering, how does Saturday look for Rock Falls?
So Saturday is a lot still up in the air. We still believe the timing, later in the day, likely in the evening now, still holds. But again, it appears the severe threat is decreasing. What would need to happen for that to increase? Well, the low would have to speed up and pull that cold front in here kind of during the peak of the afternoon, which could still happen. that the storm system can still speed up. We're 3 days out, so things can still change, and that's why we don't want to take away that impact alert just yet, because we'd hate to take it away today, and then we look at new data tomorrow, and it's like, oh,
It's back.
guess what? We need to put that weather impact alert back in place, because not everyone watches us every single day. People don't keep up with the forecast every single day, and I'd hate to miss a group of people that maybe didn't watch on a particular day.
Yes. Always better safe than sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep you up to date on the latest information.
Oh, yeah.
On GMQC tomorrow.
That's right, tomorrow, yep, and James as well in the evening. We got a lot more data coming in tomorrow that we're going to be able to see.
Yes, both of them will be ready.
Yeah.
Tyler's wondering, any estimates on how much rainfall we should be getting in Davenport through the weekend?
So through the weekend, this is going to be a healthy rain
It's going to be a good soaking.
system. Yes, we can get a little bit of a preview, and again, I'm going to do this on the fly, so give me a moment of grace here while we work through some of our graphics, because I usually don't show it too far into the future, but if you ask me nicely like you did, we'll go ahead and we'll show what this could potentially look like through Sunday. So I've got that through 5 o'clock. I just need to adjust one of my data pieces here to make sure that we're on the right thing.
To that euro.
So we want to go, yep, we're going to have to go to a lower resolution model because we're going way far out here into the future. So let's give this a second, and it's going to fill all of this in for us.
Yep.
Now remember, this is a little far into the future, so some of this is going to change. But generally speaking, you're seeing a good corridor of heavy rain to the north of us, but right overhead, it's a little bit more scattered. And that makes sense based on what Peter and I were just talking about a couple of minutes ago, and that this thing is coming in late at night. So we're likely not going to see a widespread line of storms. And also don't forget, too, that this rain is going to include what's coming in here tomorrow and also into Friday morning. If you want me to cut that out, I can. We can start with just Saturday to Sunday, and this is what that looks like when you cut out tomorrow and Friday.
Yeah.
This is what that appears to be.
Yes. And on this European model, you're going to be seeing totals around, maybe upwards of an inch further to the west, a little bit less here. If you actually switch it to the GFS, you're seeing an inch or upwards in large portions here of Iowa, just around that 1 inch mark, and actually giving us even more than that. So again, this kind of is a good way to show, yeah, we're getting a little bit more better details on timing and what we could see, but estimates across both models are still kind of all over the place when it comes to rainfall.
Quite a difference. I mean, from a quarter to half an inch to this well over an inch.
Yeah.
Kind of a little bit more widespread. Now, the GFS model we're showing you here, I'll give you a disclaimer. It's a little bit lower resolution, so that's why these blobs look so much bigger and not as refined as the Euro. The Euro is a little bit higher resolution. One of these days, the good old American GFS model will catch up to this higher resolution.
Yes.
I know they're working on it, but yeah, you can see the difference. This is a lot more finely detailed. So it's another stay tuned moment. Again, it's all about the track and timing of that low pressure. Great question.
That is a great question. Jeremy was wondering, is Galesburg going to get severe weather Saturday?
So that's another wait and see. It'd be Saturday evening. I mean, you're a little bit further south.
Yes.
So sometimes we know our hometowns south of here can get some better dynamics, but as of right now, again, things are trending down. My spidey senses aren't going crazy like they were earlier this week. That's kind of calmed down a little bit. Just want you to remain on guard.
Yes, just remain on guard, and we'll continue to update you as we get in the days ahead.
Exactly.
Fine-tune that forecast.
Yep.
So we're getting there, but there's still, I guess, potential is a good way to put it.
Potential is still there for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Laura was wondering, sinus season, are we starting to see anything brewing?
Ooh, you're talking about the good old pollen levels.
Pollen levels?
Pollen levels.
I'm not excited.
Well, I haven't actually seen too much blooming yet. And looking at the pollen forecast right now, there's none being indicated. I think we're a few more weeks out here.
Yeah.
Before we start to see that. I know some of the trees are starting to bloom. Some of those early blooming maples are starting to get their leaves. So I think it's going to be a little bit further into the month of April that we'll have to worry about pollen season. But the key to that pollen season is, if we keep getting these spring rains, that means more robust flowering and blooming and lots of that stuff. So the more rain we get this spring, the worse the pollen season typically is. And right now, like you were kind of mentioning, we have the opportunity to catch up on rain completely in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's so much potential. Even in that 10-day you saw, we have more chances after this weekend, and even some little isolated, even on the days where it's not on there yet, there's a chance for maybe an isolated shower or two to pop up.
There is, yeah.
So, I mean, it looks like it's maybe settling into more of an active start to April, and warmer too. So mixing warmer, wetter, a little bit maybe early on the growing season.
Yes.
And we were actually looking at that data the other day.
Yeah, it's getting there.
It's getting there. It's a little bit early further to our south, so
Yes.
assuming that trend follows, it might be a little bit early here as well. We can't call that out for sure.
Not yet, yeah. And I was hoping to show you guys that data, but I'm still working on trying to get it into our graphics system to where it looks nice and pretty instead of just copying and pasting a graph in there.
Yes.
But it is really cool to look at, and it is impressive to look at that data of how just earlier some of these plants are tending to bloom. And if you're curious about what the drought is too, I'll pull that up quick. The drought has been erased southwest of the Quad Cities right now, which is fantastic news.
Great
so.
news.
Driest conditions right now are in Macomb and then up and along the Highway 20 corridor. The rest of us are doing much, much better.
Yeah.
Much better.
I know March has been up and down, but it's been a great month for the drought
Yeah.
and for the farmers as we get into
Yeah.
plant season.
Had some nice rains, and it looks like you said, and I agree, it's going to continue the next several weeks.
Which is good news.
Yeah, we'll take it.
It's about time.
Right?
But actually, Zach, we have one question from Zach. I will touch upon this. Is there more snow coming in the next 2 weeks? There's maybe a slight chance. Nothing accumulating, but maybe
Yeah.
some flurries could be making their way down as of right now, Sunday into your Monday.
I agree with you. I don't think we're done with snow yet.
I don't think we are sad.
No. I think, later half of April, absolutely.
Yes.
But the fact that we keep seeing signals for snow as far or as close as Iowa, parts of Iowa, tells me we're not done here yet.
Think so.
But not on the roads.
Not on the roads. That's all that matters.
Grassy surfaces, a little vulnerable still, but roads, we're moving into that time of year where it's getting harder to do that.
Good news.
Yeah. So if you're a city manager, maybe you manage the salt supply, would I take the plows off the front of the plow trucks? Not yet. I would even wait on that because I know that's a lot of labor.
A little bit longer.
A lot of labor to do that. I would wait just a little bit longer.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's all we got. Got
That's
for
it.
everyone just in time.
All right, we got off. Very good. Yeah, so we ended on time here. And I want to thank everybody for joining us, and thank you, Peter, for as well joining
Thank you
us.
for having me.
This guy has been working his tail off.
Oh,
I know everyone in Des Moines appreciates what you're doing for them over there. Ignore the people on social media. They're very lucky to have you.
That's true.
They are very lucky to have you right next door. And we're lucky to have him as well. So keep up the good work.
Thank you, sir.
You're doing a fantastic job. We'll let you guys go. We'll see you here next week again for another episode of Ask Andrew Live. And I'll see you later this morning coming up on GMQC at 11. Have a great day, Quad Cities.
Continue with us and watch free now on the 8 Plus app everywhere you stream.